1979 to 1989. On the 27th of December 1979, the Soviet 40th Army invaded Afghanistan with the intention of propping up the communist government of the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan against a growing insurgency. At the time, the U.S. had been making progress in the Middle East to Moscow's dismay. The U.S. had succeeded in courting Egypt, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and others. On the back of this, the Soviet Union feared the loss of its communist proxy in Afghanistan. By the time the Soviet forces had entered the region, they had deployed 2 airborne assault brigades, 180 sorties of Antonov 12 and Antonov 22 transport aircraft, 100 combat aircraft, and a great number of troops to secure the Bagram Air Base, 40 miles north of Kabul. Accompanying these initial forces were paratroopers and Spetnaz. The Spetnaz were the Soviet Special Forces, an elite Soviet tactical force known for their effectiveness, ferocity, and skill. During the Cold War, there was a veil of secrecy over the structure of these units and their purpose, leading to their almost legendary status in the West. Often, Spetnaz are thought of as Army commando units. In reality, however, Spetnaz are not a specific tactical unit, but a more general clandestine force which were deployed at the behest of the Soviet intelligence security services for special missions. The most notorious were naturally those specialized in reconnaissance, commando, and special operations. There were several Spetnaz units in the Soviet Union. The GRU Spetnaz. These were and continue to be the special forces of the Russian Armed Forces Military Intelligence Directorate. The GRU Spetnaz were formed in 1949 with a task to carry out reconnaissance and sabotage activity behind enemy lines. GRU Spetnaz were assigned to units of the ground forces. The GRU VMF Spetnaz. Formed in 1941, they were another special formation of the military intelligence assigned to the Soviet Navy. The KGB Spetnaz, also known as Alpha. Set up in 1974 by the KGB's 8th Directorate in charge of surveillance, according to one contemporary report in the Washington Post from 1986, Department 8 had been connected with assassinations, kidnappings, sabotage, and other direct action operations for decades. And finally, there was the KGB SVR Spetnaz, also known as Vempel, another KGB unit set up in 1979 by the first main directorate in charge of foreign affairs. Their role was to conduct military actions abroad. The GRU and KGB picked only the best for these elite units. Recruits were primarily picked for their intelligence and physical skills, as well as by their motivation to fight unequivocally for their country. Every military district had a Spetnaz brigade, and their headquarters served as recruitment centers for special operation units. Across the breadth of the Soviet Union were centers for the recruitment of future Spetnaz soldiers. Young men were conscripted from high schools, sports clubs, and colleges, and those that showed the special physical and mental aptitude were designated Spetnaz. During the Afghan campaign, Soviet military commanders focused on recruiting young men from Muslim regions of the Soviet Union. Young men from Central Asian republics were suited to infiltration and counterinsurgency. These recruits practiced the same religion, shared similar conservative social backgrounds, and most importantly, many of these young men spoke Farsi. The involvement of the Spetnaz began when the Soviet command had realized that mechanized infantry units were not effective against the Mujahideen guerrilla tactics. Spetnaz, the USSR's elite forces, were seen as a unit capable of fighting this new enemy. However, even the Spetnaz initially lacked the mountain warfare training necessary for the Mujahideen and had to adapt to new challenges. Standard Spetnaz training was designed to engender extreme mental and psychological fitness. Superb physical fitness was achieved through intense exercise and forced marches in full combat equipment. The mental strength was acquired from frequent bullying and beatings from senior NCOs and officers. Spetnaz forces also had to master elite combat skills. They had to be exceptional marksmen, skillful in operating a variety of weapons and explosives. Recruits also had to master hand-to-hand combat. Allegedly, Spetnaz forces practiced hand-to-hand combat skills through 12-minute freestyle sparring matches against 3 opponents. The rest of the program consisted of airborne training, mountain climbing, rappelling, medical training, and using modern means of radio communication. Also, according to one contemporary Pentagon report,